Alright guys, we're back here at Breakheart Banks, so now we're going to look at the end, the kind of after. So again, this is a settlement mod that allows you to come and build here. Looks like he's hiding his hands because he's cold. So we're going to go ahead and look around here. There are some things you can't remove. You can see here, there's kind of a piece of tin here I couldn't remove, but what I did is I went ahead.
Can't talk now.
And I shoved a barricade behind it, so you can't really tell. It almost looks like it was meant to be there. So there's a lot that you can't remove on here because it wasn't originally meant to be a settlement, but I think it actually turned out pretty good for a settlement. Now I only have a few settlers at this time. I think I have about 4. This is still very much recruiting, but I have plenty of dogs. You'll see throughout this I have lots and lots of hounds. So I have different little areas. I just kind of use this. I'll talk to you in a minute. So I kind of use this to just build some random stuff. Oh, you can see one of my puppies here. Yes, I have a mod that allows you to have tiny dogs. So we have the power here, just a couple of our scavenging stations, and this is actually our chemistry station. It's modded to look like a sink so it fits in more areas. We have a doghouse under here. So that's kind of how I used that area. I didn't find it very helpful. It was difficult to use, so I just kind of used it as a catch-all. So over here you can see we have Trash Can Carla. One thing I did, rather than have all those Brahmin all over the place, I have a mod that replaces all of the Trader's Brahmin with dogs. And I have to say, much better, especially for things like the Mechanist Lair. You suddenly don't have Brahmin getting stuck everywhere. So we have another one of our guard posts back here. We're kind of going on the perimeter. We're going to do this kind of in a roundabout way. So the first building we're actually going to go to is the kind of bunkhouse or the barracks. Now everybody here pretty much lives in here with the exception of a couple people. You'll see that soon. Pretty much everybody's going to live in here. This is a small settlement. My plan with the settlement wasn't to make a big giant settlement like Sanctuary. It was more just to build a small way station or a stopping point. You can see in here we have 2 beds per room. So everybody gets themselves a roommate. It's the apocalypse though, so you can't complain. And again, these doors are controlled by a fuse box. Now these don't have individual fuse boxes. There is just one, and it also controls the lights. So you can see if I trip it, we're going to lose all the doors as well as the lights. That's more so just for the look of it. I just like the look that there's actual doors there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and come out here. And the next building we're going to run into is our clinic. So we're going to go ahead and go in here. I like doing a clinic in different areas because it allows me to have both a medical station. So you look over here, we have our tier 3 medical store as well as our surgeon, so you can change your face. I like doing those in kind of one area. One thing I like to do though is I like to have my settlers live as close as possible to their job. The reason why, I just find that way my settlers aren't trying to run all over the place on the map. Plus I can just assign them to beds. So I do have both the surgeon and the doctor can sleep in here. Then this is supposed to be a patient room. Usually I would use the medical bed, but in this case it just didn't fit, so I didn't have that option. So that is a clinic. We're going to go ahead and leave here, and we're going to go to our next area. We have another doghouse here, and our nice roasting spit. Our next location is going to be our store. So remember I said that this is more of a way station. It's kind of a place to stop when you're traveling, less than it is a kind of permanent settlement. So this is just kind of a nice little, I would call it like a bazaar type one, like you'd see more at a fair. So again, we have those tier 3 rugs in here. And I wish I could show you, but those tier 3 rugs, if you use them in conjunction with the counters, their hands will actually sit here like they're correctly placed there. So it'll look like the game almost meant it to be. Now a lot of this stuff is not placed with OCD Decorator. Unfortunately, OCD Decorator does not allow you to use the bottom shelves. It only allows you to use the topmost shelves. So a lot of this has been placed by hand, so I know it'll be knocked out later on, but this stuff was placed by OCD Decorator. So of course we have our clothing store here and our trader here. We have our moonshine still. I've been putting that in all of my settlements now. Don't have anyone assigned to these quite yet. We have our armor stand over here, showcasing some Institute stuff. And again, those tier 3 rugs. Nice thing about that, I have a refilling ammo box here. I use a Gauss rifle, so I always am running out. Let's have a couple of those. I'll tell you what, they are fantastic. They are magnificent. So I have our gun shop over here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave here. If you haven't noticed, I did a little bit of a theme. I did everything in red. I just thought it looked kind of cool. And then of course we have our weapons bench right outside. Now the next part is, this is kind of actually where I got the idea to make this more of a way station or a stopping point than to make it necessarily just a settlement. So this is our nice bar. I always wanted to build kind of a nightclub kind of thing in my settlement, but it never really felt like it fit into a settlement. This one being kind of a way station feels like it fits. So we have a nice mirror ball. I do wish it was a little brighter. Some strobe lights as well as some colored lights, some tables here, and of course a nice selection of drinks. And again, we have the fancy counter. We have one of those tier 3 rugs, so when I do get somebody here, their hands will actually be up here and it'll look like they're actually cleaning the counter. So that is the bar. And then our last guard station is just right over here. Now this was actually a pretty fun settlement to build at. I'm going to go ahead and head up there real quick. This is a pretty fun settlement to build at. I really enjoyed that this was added in. You can hook it up to your supply line, which is fantastic. This is one of those things you cannot remove. This area is overtaken by super mutants when you first come in. Sorry, I couldn't come up with the words for a second. It is overtaken by super mutants when you first come in. So you do have to clear those out, but once you clear it out, it's actually quite an enjoyable place to build. And you'll be able to see, I'm going to go ahead and open the workbench. Sorry, my workbench takes a few minutes to open. Well, not minutes, it takes a few seconds. But you can see just how massive the size of the settlement is. It's an absolutely giant settlement. Like this, you can't scrap that for some reason. Absolutely giant settlement, which is nice because it gives you plenty of room to build at. Now, I found that this was pretty much the only space I wanted to build in, so that's pretty much all I used, but there's definitely a whole lot of space for anyone who's kind of entrepreneuring to build all the way out here. So there's a lot more that I haven't used yet. So I kind of use this one too as a, I just dumped a ton of cats and dogs here, guys, I can't lie. I think there's about 6 cats and 4 or 5 dogs. We have our tiny puppies. These are pretty cute. They're just little tiny versions of our big dogs. But it actually works quite well. Most of these dogs have helped a lot when we've had attacks. I have been attacked. So this one you do get attacks at the actual settlement, even though it's not a main settlement. And as you guys heard earlier, a settler asked for help. So you're also going to get missions from them for minimum missions. So that's it, guys. That is my entire Breakheart Banks settlement. I hope that you guys liked this, and if you guys want to download the mod, it's wonderful. It's actually just called Breakheart Banks Settlement Mod. That actually is the name of the mod. Normally I pull it up and show you guys, but there's nothing special about it. That's all it says. So if you guys are interested in downloading it, I know it's on PS4. I'm pretty sure it's probably on PC. I'm not sure about Xbox, but usually Xbox is everything PC has. So definitely give it a download if you like settlements. So thank you so much for being here, guys. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did building this, and I will see you guys in the next settlement video.